Did God issue a law in Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 28 to 29 that forces an unbetrothed, unmarried virgin who has been raped to marry her own rapist? That's the understanding and polemic we get from many skeptics today. But is it true? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Just a couple of sentences before this relevant verse, we can read that in the theocracy of ancient Israel, established for the people God freed miraculously out of slavery in Egypt, one of the 630 laws recorded in the Torah was that sex with a woman that was engaged, betrothed or married is adultery and was to be punished by death of the man who did it, or of both if consensual. If the act worthy of capital punishment was all on the man, the Hebrew word used to describe the rape and crime here is the word shazak, which means forcible assault. Now keep that word in mind as we move on to the very next verse, because that's where we apparently find this marry your rapist law. First of all, none of the word-for-word Bible translations actually use the English word rape, but a couple in the thought-for-thought or paraphrase category do. Like the one we just read now, the NIV, which stands for Not Inspired Version. I'm just kidding, but they went sloppy on this passage, and I'll show why. Now there's a few things to consider in contrast to the adultery and rape law mentioned in the very verses before here. Because in the law addressed in this video, it's not the Hebrew word shazak, meaning forcible assault, that is used, but rather a different word, tapas, meaning lay hold of, seize, take.
That's interesting.
As we move on, and I will address this a bit further after, keep in mind that this was an ancient, very male-dominating culture. Therefore, actions and decisions taken was first and foremost on their head. Now here's a shocking fact for you. Brace yourself. Did you know that also thousands of years ago, there were boyfriends and girlfriends around that were not engaged, not married, and had sex? Hidden. Are you done being super shocked? Great, me too. And since we are all done being so shocked, first of all, the very verse in law before this one we look at today, we read and see that if a man rapes an engaged or married woman, shazak, again, meaning forcible assault, he's given a death penalty. Dear skeptic, why is not shazak also used in the very next law, this one we look at now, instead of the word tapas? And why would not the exact same horrible and serious crime give the exact same capital punishment? Well, because obviously a traumatizing, degrading, horrendous rape experience and assault that will be a burden for life is all cool if you are a virgin. I mean, come on, context and logic. This law is clearly referring to a different act and therefore a different consequence. So this special ancient Israel theocracy law was given to protect the woman in that very male-dominating world, holding the man accountable and putting the responsibility on him. That is, if you are discovered with your pants off, fooling around with your unbetrothed girlfriend, you have violated her and taken some of the most precious and valuable a woman could have. So you as the man will be held responsible and pay the price. Boy, you are gonna marry your girlfriend, you're gonna make her your wife, and you're gonna fulfill the marriage vows and laws to her and her family, and never divorce her. But first, you need to also ask her current provider, her father, for permission. Whoa, hold up. That last part with asking her father for permission and all, that's not in the Deuteronomy passage. Right, but here's another thing that skeptics miss when trying to go polemical with this theocracy Old Testament law. Deuteronomy, the name of the whole book, means second law. There are much more to these laws than what we think, read and know about in just an isolated verse. The earlier book, Exodus, provides some more useful information and context for this law. Here you can see both these passages about this law, side by side from a word-for-word Bible translation, NASB. And again, most of the Bible translation versions do show this kind of wording. So, Exodus chapter 22 verse 16 to 17 and Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 28 to 29. Notice the wording of the law in the first and earlier book, Exodus. Seduces, like as in tempting and enticing the virgin. That's not shazak, as in rape and forcible attack. It is a serious thing though, in a male-dominating culture thousands of years ago, where the woman depended much more on a man than today for surviving. For the woman, virginity was her marriage gift and a golden ticket for her to have a husband, kids, and honor for herself and family. If the hormones went out of control before being betrothed, no matter who was the most eager of them, it was the man who was to be held accountable and responsible for allowing it to happen in the first place. Because since you, as the man and the head of the society, took the golden ticket from this now ex-virgin woman, you will pay the price for it. Boy, you are gonna make her your wife, and you are gonna provide for her and not divorce her for the rest of your life. Now that will make you think twice before doing a one-night stand or fooling around with your unbetrothed girlfriend. Oh, and as you can see, the man needs her current provider, her father's permission for marriage. It's him who will make a decision best for her and future of the family. He would probably sit down and talk to his young daughter seriously about this and possible alternatives. In light of multiple other points and arguments I presented in this video, I want to end with one more. I think it's silly to think that it was okay for the father to give his own flesh and blood daughter to marry a man that through a forcible attack defiled and raped her against her will. His own flesh and blood. So no, there are just too many evidences that this law is for a different act and therefore a different consequence. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please boost YouTube algorithms if so, and subscribe to the channel for more weekly videos. And if you are the bestest in the world, there are also ways to financially support this channel and ministry. I'm done now. Bye.